Ever wonder what muscle cars were like in 1973? It was a weird time. Emissions rules were tightening, insurance costs were climbing, and the golden age of horsepower was clearly on its way out. But even with all that, a few cars still came out swinging. They weren't as wild as the legends from the late 60s, sure, but they still had something to say. Some real performance, bold designs, and just enough attitude to remind people that muscle wasn't dead yet. In this video, we're counting down the 10 fastest muscle cars of 1973. Not based on hype, but on what they actually ran at the track. Real numbers, real tests, and maybe a few surprises you didn't expect. Let's get into it. The Mustang Mach 1 351 Cobra jet was a solid performer in a time of shifting priorities. It came equipped with a 351 cubic inch, 5.8-liter Cleveland V8, producing 266 horsepower at 5,400 RPM and 301 pound-foot of torque at 3,600 RPM. With the right setup, it could run the quarter mile in around 14.9 seconds at 91.4 miles per hour and hit the 0 to 60 in about 7 seconds. Respectable numbers for its class. Backing up the power was Ford's competition suspension package, which included heavy-duty springs, shocks, and sway bars, giving the Mach 1 improved cornering and stability. It also looked the part, with its aggressive fastback, sports roof styling, blacked-out hood treatment, functional hood scoop, and bold Mach 1 decals that made sure it didn't go unnoticed. In 1973, Pontiac rolled out the Grand Am, a bold mashup of European design cues and classic American muscle. Slotted between the luxury Grand Prix and the sporty Trans Am, it aimed to deliver a more refined yet still aggressive driving experience. Under the hood, the optional 455 cubic inch 7.5-liter V8 cranked out 250 net horsepower and 370 pound-foot of torque, more than enough to keep things interesting despite new emission restrictions. According to the May 1973 issue of Motor Trend, this 4,000-pound machine could sprint the quarter mile in 15.7 seconds. Solid performance for the time. Inside, Pontiac pushed a Euro-inspired vibe with padded dash panels, supportive bucket seats, and a wraparound cockpit that felt more like a fighter jet than a family car. But perhaps the most unforgettable feature was its massive Endura front bumper. They were supposed to be impact resistant, but mostly just looked like they were designed to intimidate lesser cars off the road. The Buick GS Stage 1. Proof that muscle didn't always come in bare-bones packages. While most luxury coupes in the early 70s were getting softer, Buick doubled down with the Stage 1 performance package. Under the hood was a torque-heavy 455 cubic inch, 7.5-liter V8, officially rated at 270 net horsepower and a thundering 390 pound-foot of torque. But that's only part of the story. What made this car really move was what Buick didn't advertise. The Stage 1 engine had bigger valves, a hotter camshaft, and a higher compression ratio than the base 455. According to period dyno tests, real output was estimated closer to 390 horsepower. Underrated on purpose to dodge insurance penalties. Muscle Car Review, 1984. In July 1973, Motor Trend clocked a GS Stage 1 with a 4-barrel carb and dual exhaust, running the quarter mile in just 15.3 seconds at 90 miles per hour. Keep in mind this was a 4,000-pound-plus car with full interior, power accessories, and air conditioning. Yet, it outran plenty of lighter competition. The Dodge Charger SE 440, a muscle car that managed to blend full-size luxury with real straight-line bite. By 73, the Charger had grown larger and more refined, but the SE trim didn't back down when it came to performance. Tucked inside the engine bay was a massive 440 cubic inch, 7.2-liter V8, officially rated at 280 horsepower and 380 pound-foot of torque. According to the May 1973 issue of Motor Trend, that was enough to push the Charger SE through the quarter mile in 15.2 seconds at nearly 93 miles per hour. This year also brought along a new Carter thermo-quad carburetor, improving fuel delivery and giving the big block motor a sharper edge. And while it packed serious grunt, the SE still kept things classy, complete with a vinyl roof, hidden headlights, and opera windows that gave it a look somewhere between street fighter and lounge cruiser. The 1973 AMC Javelin AMX wasn't just another muscle car. It was AMC's loudest answer to Detroit's big guns. Under its long hood sat a 401 cubic inch, 6.6-liter V8, pushing 255 net horsepower and 345 pound-foot of torque. It was paired with either a 4-speed manual or 3-speed automatic transmission. Despite AMC being the underdog among American automakers, the Javelin AMX delivered real performance, hitting the quarter mile in 15.4 seconds and 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 6.2 seconds. Visually, the AMX was unmistakable. With wide, flared fenders, a menacing ducktail spoiler, and an exaggerated muscle car stance, it looked more like a comic book hero's getaway car than a daily driver. Inside, it featured high back bucket seats, a full rally gauge cluster, and optional upgrades like power disc brakes and fast ratio steering. Only 1,420 units of the 401 powered AMX were built in 1973 before production ended the following year, marking the end of AMC's true muscle era. In 1973, the Plymouth Cuda 340 stood out as a nimble contender in the muscle car arena. Equipped with a 340 cubic inch 5.6-liter V8 engine, it produced 240 net horsepower and 295 pound-foot of torque. This powertrain enabled the Cuda 340 to accelerate from 0 to 60 in approximately 6.0 seconds and complete the quarter mile in 14.3 to 14.7 seconds. Impressive figures for its class. The engine's design featured a high-rise dual-pane intake manifold, a large 4-barrel carburetor, and free-flowing dual exhausts, contributing to its responsive performance. The Cuda's relatively light curb weight of around 3,220 pounds further enhanced its agility on the road. Visually, the 73 Cuda maintained its aggressive stance with a distinctive shark-like grille and optional bold graphics. Inside, it featured bucket seats and a rally-style instrument cluster, emphasizing its performance-oriented design. By 1973, the Oldsmobile 442 had transitioned from its earlier, more aggressive form into a refined muscle cruiser. Despite the shift towards luxury, it retained commendable performance capabilities. Equipped with a 455 cubic inch 7.5-liter rocket V8 engine, the 442 delivered 270 net horsepower and 370 pound-foot of torque. This powertrain enabled the vehicle to accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in approximately 6.8 seconds and complete the quarter mile in 14.9 seconds at 97.3 miles per hour, as reported by High Performance Cars magazine in April 1973. The 1973 model introduced the Collindale body style, featuring a semi-fastback roofline and energy-absorbing bumpers, aligning with new safety standards. The 442 package, designated as W29, included a special grille, dual hood scoops, and distinctive striping. Inside, the car offered a comfortable cabin with bucket seats and a dashboard design reminiscent of luxury vehicles. Gone were the wild days of ram air and street brawls. The 1973 GTO had grown up. But that didn't mean it had gone soft. Despite increasingly strict emissions regulations, the GTO still delivered real muscle. Thanks to its top engine option, a 455 cubic inch 7.5-liter V8 rated at 250 net horsepower and 380 pound-foot of torque. In testing by High Performance Cars magazine, the 73 GTO ran the quarter mile in 14.7 seconds at 91 miles per hour. Quicker than many rivals that year, including the Javelin AMX and the Charger SE 440. What made it one of the fastest in its class wasn't just displacement, it was the torque-heavy power band, low rear-end gearing, and relatively light curb weight, around 3,800 pounds with the 455, which gave it strong off-the-line acceleration. Even without the high-strung ram air setups of earlier years, this version of the GTO could still light up the tires and hold its own at the strip. Chevrolet's 1973 Z28 might have been built under stricter emission rules, but it didn't forget how to move. Power came from the 350 cubic inch 5.7-liter L82 V8, rated at 245 net horsepower at 5,200 RPM and 280 pound-foot of torque at 4,000 RPM. Backed by a close ratio 4-speed manual and 3.42 rear gears, the Z28 still had plenty of punch. CarCraft magazine recorded a quarter-mile time of 14.69 seconds at 96 miles per hour in their July 1973 issue. The engine setup featured a 9.0 to 1 compression ratio, a quadrajet 4-barrel carburetor, and dual exhausts, helping the car breathe and rev freely despite emissions era restrictions. With a curb weight of around 3,350 pounds, the Z28 remained one of the more nimble muscle cars of the time, quick off the line and responsive in the corners. Looks-wise, it kept its street fighter attitude intact. The 73 Z28 wore bold racing stripes, a low-slung stance, and unmistakable split bumper front end and factory rally wheels. In an era when most muscle cars were being strangled by emissions regulations, the 1973 Pontiac Trans Am SD455 refused to back down. At its core was a 455 cubic inch, 7.5-liter Super Duty V8, rated at 290 net horsepower at 4,000 RPM and a massive 395 pound-foot of torque at 3,600 RPM. According to Hot Rod Magazine's June 1973 test, that was enough to rocket the Trans Am through the quarter mile in just 13.54 seconds at 104.3 miles per hour, faster than just about anything else on the street that year. The SD455 wasn't just about raw displacement. It came loaded with heavy-duty internals, including a reinforced block, forged aluminum pistons, and high-flow cylinder heads, all designed to withstand the high RPM abuse. Despite its capability, Pontiac only built 252 SD455 equipped cars in 1973, making it one of the rarest and most respected muscle machines of the era. And that's our list of the 10 fastest muscle cars from 1973. Proof that even in a tough year, Detroit still knew how to build fast, loud, and unforgettable machines. Let us know which one impressed you most in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more classic car content. Thanks for watching.